Hello, everyone, and welcome to my time to teach the class. This is Biology 101 9042, and this is the light dependent reaction of photosynthesis by Robert Murdoch, which is me. Now, let's go on to phase one. The light dependent reaction of photosynthesis. There are two main reactions of photosynthesis. As you see here in photosynthesis, this is the process where sunlight and carbon monoxide, as well as water, are absorbed into the plant, and through a process of photosynthesis, oxygen and sugar, which is glucose, are created and released. Now, the first thing we need to mention is that its pigment inside is determined by the molecules of the photosystems of the light harvesting complex, which passes energy from sunlight to the reaction center. Now, this consists of many proteins and a mixture of 300 to 400 different chlorophyll A and B molecules, which determine pigments like carotenoids. Here we see strawberries and blueberries that are very high in carotenoids and are also known as antioxidants because they're very high in oxygen. Now, this process comes from the absorption of a single photon in a distinct quantity or packet of light um, by any of the chlorophylls pushes that molecule into an excited state. This excited state from the light energy has now been captured by the biological molecules, but it's not stored for any useful form just yet. As we see here in the diagram as well, the sunlight coming into the leaf. Now, the three main products of this light-dependent reaction are oxygen, ATP, and NADPH. The photosynthesis takes place in two stages. This is the light-dependent reaction and the Calvin cycle. Now, what's interesting here is the light-dependent reaction takes place in the thylakoid membrane. The thylakoid membrane is a membrane that is within the chloroplast, as you see here in this diagram. Mhm. Now here, as you can see in this chloroplast cell, within the chloroplast, you can see the thylakoid membrane and the tiny membranes that are just there within the stroma, and they're surrounded by this outer membrane, this outer layer. Now within the chloroplast, you can also see the starch granule, the lipid granule, as well as the ribosome and DNA ring right over here. These are all within here, this chlorophyll cell. The stroma is that filling in the inside that can somewhat become charged with these electrons and protons that are coming from the splitting of water atoms. Chlorophyll absorbs energy from the sunlight and then converted the chemical energy with the use, and then it's converted to chemical energy with the use of water. And here again, you see a chloroplast, which is within the chloroplast chlorophyll. And you see the chloroplast envelope, which is that outer membrane, as well as the lamella and the stroma, and the thylakoid itself, which is the lumen thylakoid membrane right in there. And if you look in at the zoom in, you can see down here hydrogen and oxygen molecules being split, and there being an additional two hydrogen molecules that are going towards ATP. And this is all within the stroma, that fluid there. Now, the process of converting light to energy isn't as simple as you might think. The overall purpose of the light-dependent reactions is to convert solar energy into chemical energy and into the form of NADPH as well as ATP. This chemical energy will be used by the Calvin cycle to fuel the assembly of those sugar molecules we were talking about, better known as glucose. Now, energy from the light is used by the chloroplast electron transport chain to pump protons across the thylakoid membrane into the lumen of the thylakoid. Remember we saw that a slide ago? This creates a proton gradient that is used as a source of energy at the ATP synthase. You can see the ATP synthase right here, and it's grabbing that additional hydrogen molecule and pushing it out just like that. This is the beginning of the conversion of the energy, because whenever molecules are split, there's a little bit of energy there. And this is where the molecules go. Now, in this light-dependent reaction, energy is absorbed by sunlight and stored in these two molecules, like we just said, the ATP and ADH. I'm sorry about that. Now, ATP and NADPH, okay, now this is the buildup of hydrogen ions in the thylakoid space, which forms this electrochemical gradient because of the different connection of protons, which is, as you see here, that hydrogen molecule that's floating around, and the difference in the charge across the membranes that they create. This potential energy is harvested and stored as chemical energy in ATP through chemosis. Now you can see here below the NADP and the ADP, and going from the light reaction cycles on down to the ATP, which is that big bang. That's that energy. And then the NADPH, which is the transporting of those other molecules towards the Calvin cycle, coming back around, like reaction, creating carbon monoxide coming in, sugar out. This is H2O, water in, and then it's the oxygen out right there. And this, if you want to see it a little bit better, and as you see, it's all surrounded by that chloroplast right there, just like that chloroplast cell we were looking at in the very beginning. Now this is just a quick little GIF I found. Somewhat easy to explain what's going on. You can kind of see the molecule, the hydrogen molecule going out, like we said, and then going back up and then out as carbon monoxide. Now, the remaining function of the light-dependent reaction is to generate other energy molecule, the NADPH. As the electron from the electron transport chain arrives to this photosystem, it is re-energized as another photon and then captured by the chlorophyll, as you can see in this GIF here. The energy from this electron drives the formation of NADPH and NADP plus, and a hydrogen ion and an extra hydrogen ion. Now that the solar energy is stored in the energy carriers, it can be used to make a sugar molecule. Thank you for your time in listening to my project. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my information below. Have a great day and enjoy. I am enjoying biology, and I hope you will as well. Thank you.